Good morning. How are you doing? It is Thursday, the 31st of December. It is New Year's Eve 2020. We are literally 12 hours away, I think, from the bells tolling and entering 2021. And let's be honest, 2020 has been somewhat of a challenging year. And as we're going into 2021, we might be filled with a little bit of apprehension and concern and worry of where we're going to end up. Okay, so for those of you that see me for the first time, as I always introduce myself, my name is Sefik. I'm a coach, an author, and a speaker. I'm an author of this book, There's No Shame. Grab yourself a copy from www.shafikempowermentcoaching.co.uk or go via your Amazon, Audible, Kindle, downloadable, whatever medium. But if you want a personal copy, signed, hardback, grab it from empowermentcoaching.co.uk. But crucially, as I always say, I'm the survivor of 2 suicide attempts. So I do know, crucially, and I'm proud to say it because I want to break down those taboos and stigmas associated with poor mental health, about how we all might be struggling with our mindset moving forward. So one thing I'm going to talk about today is the truth between what is the truth and what we're being told. Okay, now this is not about COVID, so you don't have to write this off, oh, it's another conspiracy thing. It's not. This is about you. This is about you, about what you believe in yourself and what maybe you're being told, or you find yourself in a situation that you're being told. Okay, so the truth, the difference between the truth and what you're being told. And I can talk about this for a vast amount of experiences in my life, more so over the last 4 years, but also leading up to those 2 suicide attempts. So if you want to find out more, grab yourself a copy. So had I listened more to what was being told about me, about my old career and where I found myself with my 2 suicide attempts rather than the truth, then would I have won that tribunal? Can't talk about the tribunal, but the difference between what was being said and alleged and the actual truth coming out was something completely different. The truth really does matter. Had I have listened to what the banks were saying when I received that 14-day letter from repossession of the house on the mortgage, rather than the actual truth of the situation and what I could actually do to avert that, then we wouldn't have this house. Had I listened to what the banks were saying when we were scammed out of that 5-figure sum, and I walked out that Barclays Bank in February 2018 with only 36p to my name, as opposed to the truth of the situation, then would I ever had that financial payout, for want of a better word? Sometimes you find yourself in a situation where what is being said and what you're being told is not actually the truth. What you're being told about yourself, what you're being told about your character, what you're being told about your career, what you're being told about your business, what you're being told about your marriage by other people, it's not necessarily the truth of the situation. I am the survivor of 2 suicide attempts in 2006 and 2016. You know my story. I won't talk about it, but on both attempts, both days, they are Fridays, they're 10 years apart, I saw out an action. And thankfully, they failed. And thankfully, they failed because I knew the truth of the situation was now that what tried to break me actually made me. It made me the person that I am now. It made me the person that breaks down those stigmas and taboos, that makes people realize that where you find yourself now does not determine or define where you will end up. A lot of us will look at 2020 thinking, oh my God, the year, I will never forget that year. How we were troubled, how we were strangled, how we were stifled, how we missed out on so many things, how we lost loved ones. But does that define where 2021 is going to go? It will define where 2021 is going to go if you choose to look at news feeds, if you choose to look at media stories, if you choose to listen to the bombarding of all the negative sides of this. Where is, as I said earlier last week, the Christmas cheer? Sometimes when people, or in my case, were throwing bricks at me, wanting me to fail, saying, Sefik, you had to go to the States. Sefik, you're on prescription drugs. So Sefik, you lost all your money. You lost your career. You lost your identity. You nearly lost your roof. You went to the food banks. You went to the charities. You were doing paper rounds. You were doing anything you could to scrape money together. All these bricks that were being thrown at me invariably built a wall and built the firm foundations for me to realize that I can now deflect this, that I can now forge my own career, can forge my own past. And all the negative stuff that had affected me in the past and actually got me to that situation where I challenged myself to the point that I was failing, now defended me, now gave me that resolve, now gave me those firm foundations to move on. So you are, as I always say, more stronger, more powerful, more resilient, more knowledgeable than you realize. And when we do fall and when we do crumble and when we do stutter and kind of, one step forward, two steps back, as long as we are moving forward, as long as we're making that effort, then we are succeeding. It's when we don't, it's when we cower in a corner and we can't pick ourselves up, then we will, don't like to choose the choice of words, but we will tend to fail. And remember, you haven't failed. Remember, this year you have gone through and overcome so much. Remember how out of all this, we now value our personal freedom. We now value hugs. We now value interaction. We now value the ability to walk into the supermarket and see toilet rolls and pasta. We now value more than ever our ability to travel freely throughout our country. We now value more than ever our ability to see our family and friends and give them hugs and kisses. We now value more than ever, depending what side of the fence you sit on, the fact that our children are having to go into school and be tested as guinea pigs. My opinion, not the opinion or a consensus that I imagine everyone believes in. But those deep-rooted values that you hold true to yourself forge yourself and direct you to the way you want to go. So don't worry where you are now. You've proved more than you know how strong you are. And where you find yourself now in 2021 on the 31st of December does not define or determine where you will end up in 2021. 2020 has shown you what an amazing job you've done at overcoming. And you've built resolve and you've built value and you've built strength that maybe you didn't know you had. So stay positive, stay upbeat, stay strong, stay in a good headspace. Be thankful for what you've achieved this year. Be thankful for what you've learned this year. Don't ever doubt your ability to overcome. I guess I've proved more than most from that 2006 and 2016 episode and everything that subsequently came my way, with repossession, with going to the state, with losing everything, with walking out of a bank with only 36p to my name and not knowing what I was going to do, that you are stronger than you know and that you will overcome anything. And the way to do that is sometimes to whatever's being thrown at you or where you find yourself, to use those bricks, as I refer to build the foundations that will protect you moving forward. And sometimes the things that we struggle for, we strive for most, and we want to succeed the most but fail, are sometimes the greatest things for us. Because then comes a reality, I can't do this anymore. I didn't want to lose my career. I didn't want to lose what I'd built up. But I valued it so much that it blinded me into not seeing another way. And then when it failed, it didn't work out, I realized that I couldn't put any more into it. I'd reached my breaking point and now it was time to rebuild. So stay positive, stay upbeat. Have the most amazing New Year's Eve. Look forward to 2021. It's going to be a year of changes. It's going to be a massively important year. Get out tonight, see that amazing moon that we have. Give yourself the permission to grant yourself the ability to say, I'm ridding myself of all the shackles that have been put on me this year. I'm ridding myself of all those shackles that have been put on me this year. And I grant myself permission to go into 2021 in the most amazing, positive, and best place possible. Okay, so this coming week, starting the 4th, when the kids go back to school, allegedly, I'll be putting out a blog each week in regards to getting yourself that firm foothold and going forward into 2021. And if you need any advice, any coaching, any speaking, or just interaction, please reach out to me by DMing me, messaging me, or visiting the website. And look out for those friends and family that you do know are struggling, that are worried, that are concerned, because that phone call or that interaction is more powerful than you know. As I always say, if somebody those 10 years apart in those Friday afternoons has said, Sefik, are you doing all right? I wouldn't have done what I did in 2006 and 2016. Longer post than usual, but I felt just get myself out there. I'm sure this will be helpful for many people. If you want to get yourself an inspirational book, read for 2021, you know where to go. Have the most amazing day. Lots of love. Got to believe to succeed. There's no shame. And have the most amazing New Year's Eve. Cheers. Bye.